This week we're going to start learning how to build our own REST APIs using Flask to make it easy to access data in a programmatic way. Welcome to another MetPy Monday. Hello, I'm John Lehman, a software engineer for Unidata. This week we're going to start a series, it'll probably be a couple weeks long, on using Flask to build a REST API. And you might ask what exactly a REST API is. Well, when you see those URLs in your browser bar that have things like a question mark and then parameter equals temperature and things like that, those are ways that you're making a query to a server and it's returning data to you. In fact, this is what Siphon does for Threads data servers. It helps you build these calls to the Threads API. So what we're going to do is make our own API, or application programming interface. In this case, I want to make it easy to get data for a given buoy from the National Data Buoy Center for the current time. So I'm not going to add querying and time and all of that, but I just want to say, okay, this is the buoy maybe that's nearest me, and I want the data for that buoy, the most current version of that. And in the end, we're going to have it give that to us as a dictionary or JSON, where we can then easily pull it into our own application. So this is writing the server side of this application. All right, well, let's get started. The first thing that we're going to need to do is import Flask. If you don't have Flask installed, of course, you can do that with conda, pip, or whatever your favorite method of installation is. So the first thing that we need to do is create our app instance with Flask. So I'm going to say that the app is flask.flask, and we'll just call it dunder name, which in this case is going to be dunder main, since that's the main program that we're running. I'm also going to go ahead and set the debug config flag to be true, just to give us any additional debug information that may be helpful while we're developing our app. So the first thing that we need to do in Flask is define a route. And we need to use that to decorate a function that's going to say what is the return to the browser for that route. First, I'm going to create my function, def home, which, since this is an API, doesn't really have a home page. But to get started, we're going to create a home page, and we'll refine this later on. So I'm just first going to return a raw string with a header. So this is HTML h1, awesome Flask API for NDBC. I'm going to close my h1 tag, go to my next line, and say, for use, contact me. Not a very useful message there. And close my triple bad quotes there. So now we've made this function that returns something to the browser. It's just a little HTML snippet. We need to create that route. So I'm going to use the app.route decorator here. And we want it to be the home route. So if somebody went to yourwebpage.com, this would be home. For methods, this is just going to be using the get method. And we'll talk more about get and post and the differences between those in a future episode. So now we've created our route and we've created the return. It's time to tell the app to start up. And we do that simply with app.run. So now I'm going to save this script. I'm calling it myapi.py, and we'll start it up. So here in our Anaconda prompt, just going to Python myapi.py. And we see that we start running. It says, warning, this is only a development server. Do not use this in production. There are lots of other ways to serve up your app in production, gUnicorn, WSGI, many others out there. And now we're going to open a browser and navigate to port 5000 on our local host. So there we go. At localhost port 5000, we see our returned HTML. awesome Flask API for NDVC for use, contact me. That's all well and good, but we would like to actually put some data in there. So this week we're going to get the first bits of data in there, and then we'll actually continue to make this an API next week. Back in our code, we're going to need to actually get some data. So for that, we're going to need Siphon. And from siphon.simplewebservice.ndbc, I'm going to import the ndbc client. I'm going to make a function that's not going to be decorated. It's not a route for the app. It's just a function that we're going to use called getDataForBuoy. And it's going to take a buoy that we want data for. Docstring, of course, gets current data for a given buoy. We're going to get the NDVC latest observations, which come back as a data frame. And then I'm going to return that data frame where that data frame's station column is equal to the buoy that we want. So we're going to find which row that is and return it. Now down in our home function, the buoy data is going to be getDataForBuoy, and I want to pick buoy 15006. So now we're going to add some text here. I'm going to say air temp at 15006 is, I'm going to make this an F string. So it's obviously going to be in our buoy data. I'm going to take that to a dictionary in the records format, which just means it's going to be a dictionary where the key is the column name and the value is the value of that row at that column. It's an easy way to get rid of the index that would, by default, come along with it. And we're going to get a list of records. I only want the first one. There is only one. And I want to get air temperature. Now, this is certainly not a foolproof way in any stretch of the imagination to get this, but it's going to show the concept. And when we reload our web page, we now see that the air temperature at 15006 is 24.5. So as a final step, let's make this a little more like an API. As I said, an API is going to return something for a computer to read, not for a human. So we're not going to return this nice, pretty HTML. Let's go ahead and return that dictionary that contains all of the information for that buoy. That's one step closer to what the API is going to need to serve the client application. So we're going to remove all of our string formatting here. I'm going to make sure that this is a string, as that is what the web browser is expecting. It wouldn't know what to do with a dictionary or a list. So we save this and reload the web page. When we do that, now we have all of the variables for that station as a dictionary or JSON, if we're thinking about web framework here. But it's not queryable. Right now we've hard-coded into our app that we want station 15006. So next week we're going to learn how to put some arguments up here and make this actually a queryable API where we can get certain stations or certain things from all the stations. I hope that you found this useful, and we'll see you on next week's MetPy Monday.